Hello friends, welcome to Physics Pathfinder. In this video, let us discuss about change of phase and heating curve of ice and water. The process of change from one state to another at a constant temperature is called change of phase. Now, let us consider this. We all know that a solid, when heated, changes to liquid, and a liquid, when heated, changes to gas. Now, the process wherein a substance changes from solid state to liquid state is called melting or fusion. The process wherein a liquid changes to gas is called vaporization. Now, all these things can be written like this: solid, liquid, gas, solid on melting changes to liquid, liquid and vaporization changes to gas. Apart from this, a gas can be converted to liquid and a liquid can be converted to solid. Now, in these two processes where solid changes to liquid and liquid changes to gas, heat energy is absorbed. Whereas, if you take a gas changing to liquid or a liquid changing to solid, here heat energy is liberated. Now, here in this statement only it can be written: a gas on condensation changes to liquid and a liquid on freezing changes to solid. Now, you have to remember one thing. The process wherein a solid converts to liquid is called melting. This process is called melting, and melting takes place at a fixed temperature. And this fixed temperature is called melting point. So please note the difference in melting and melting point. Melting is a process, whereas melting point is a temperature. Similarly, the process wherein a liquid changes to gas is called vaporization, and vaporization takes place at a certain temperature. That fixed temperature is called vaporization point. Now, let us take this one. Solid getting converted to liquid. This process is called melting. But the reverse process wherein a liquid gets converted to solid is called freezing or solidification. A liquid getting converted to solid is called freezing or solidification. And the temperature at which a liquid gets converted to solid is called freezing point or solidification point. Now, for pure substances, the melting point and freezing point are identical. Now let us study about heating curve of ice and heating curve of water. I have a temperature time graph here. If you observe this graph, I have taken temperature on y-axis and time on x-axis, and the graph is A, B, C. Now, here a substance that is a solid, the example here is ice. Ice is heated for certain time, and we know that ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius. This is the melting point of ice. So if you observe this graph, ice starts melting up to certain time. The temperature remains constant here. Now, from this point to this point, that is the part AB in the graph, represents melting of ice. And you can note that as long as ice melts, the temperature remains at 0 degrees Celsius only. So you have to remember that whenever change of state takes place, whenever change of state takes place, the temperature remains constant. So here also the temperature remains at 0 degrees Celsius only up to certain time. So here what is happening? Ice will be getting converted to water, and this is called melting. So AB represents melting. Next, the part BC. Part BC represents rise in temperature of water. So you can observe here from this point B, there is rise in temperature, and the temperature is rising up to 30 degrees Celsius. So here in this graph, you can mention this as water. So part AB in the graph represents melting of ice, whereas part BC represents water. Always remember, whenever change of state takes place, the temperature remains constant. So as long as ice melts, the temperature is remaining constant only. Then there will be rise in temperature of water. This is the heating curve of ice during melting. If you observe this graph, again one more graph I have, temperature time graph for heating curve for water. Here I have taken water, and the initial temperature of water is 20 degrees Celsius. So water initially is at 20 degrees Celsius. Now, when we start heating water at 20 degrees Celsius, in the beginning what happens? There will be gradual rise in the temperature, that is shown by the part AB in the graph. So water at 20 degrees Celsius when heated, first there will be rise in temperature. Up to what temperature the water reaches? The rise in temperature will be up to 100 degrees Celsius. We know that at 100 degrees Celsius water starts boiling. So when the temperature reaches to 100 degrees Celsius, water starts boiling. And this part of the graph, part BC, if you observe, there is a change in the time, but the temperature is remaining constant. So part AB represents rise in temperature of water. Part BC represents boiling. And this is called change of state. As I have already told, there is change of state taking place. Water will be converted into steam at 100 degrees Celsius, and the temperature will be constant. Though the time will be changing, the temperature remains constant. So this is the heating curve for water. So if you observe these two graphs, what is the conclusion here? If you take the heating curve of ice, as long as there is change of state, the temperature remains constant. So when ice melts and it will be converted into water, the temperature remains constant. Here again, when water starts boiling, water will be converted into steam, but the temperature remains constant. So from these two graphs, we can infer that whenever there is change of state taking place, the temperature remains constant, even though heat energy is absorbed by the substance. So remember, during change of state, the temperature remains constant, but heat energy will be absorbed. This is about heating curve of ice and water. Thank you. In the next video, we shall consider some questions based on heating curve. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. For offline classes, please contact the number given in the description.